Hi everybody, Muslin from Michelle Makes here. In my last video, I showed you a dress that I'd purchased and I dyed it turquoise. I was going to print onto the little black bits with some fabric paint. Tried it, it didn't work out, but I was thinking about embroidering little pieces around the bodice, so that's going to happen sometime soon. But what I did do was I made a copy of it, and there are several ways you could make a copy. One way is tracing round the dress, which is probably the easiest way. You just lay the dress out flat on a flat surface on the floor with tracing paper underneath, and you trace round the sleeve, and then you trace around the bodice, and then you trace around the skirt, and so on. But I thought I would try a different one where I went on to Lacala, the Lacala Sewist. It's a sewist section, and I designed the skirt, the dress, as close as I could to what the actual pattern was. I finished this dress and it turned out nice, but I think I had opted for semi-fitted. And I think I could have gone for a loose fitting, because it probably could have done with a bit more space on the arms and a bit more space on the hips. Not so much on the hips, but the flare bit, the coming out from the waist downwards, the skirt part. And so, but having said that, it turned out lovely. I was quite pleased with it. And I used the pink floral fabric that I just showed you in in 2 vlogs back, and that turned out quite nice. I did do a couple of because this was kind of a muslin to see what it looked like, a wearable muslin, let's call it, say. I didn't have the little loop. The original has a little gap there with the ties. Well, all I did was I faced the back of the neck, and then I just put some ties on that you tie. I could have done the gap thing, but the little the opening, but I just decided not to do that, not for the first attempt. And it turned out quite nice. I was quite pleased with it. As I say, I think I'll need to make it more baggy on the sleeves, and I'd like to make it a little bit more flared on the hips, or on the skirt, But other than that, it's turned out quite nice. So I'll show you what it's like. Well, this is the Morrison's dress, which I have dyed a turquoise green. From the pattern that I've made, you can see that it has a little shoulder, and then there's a couple of little gathers in the sleeve. It goes down to the waist. It's like a bat wing type of shape, and the cuffs are gathered. It actually has a seam along the top of the sleeve, so the sleeve's made into 2 parts, and there's a front bodice with a tie. And if I turn it round, you can see the same thing happens on the back. The sleeve has a seam going up there. The back is one whole part, and again you've got the shoulder seam there. So we've got this pattern that we downloaded. You need to go to www.sewist.com, and that will open this page. Now, for me to sign in, I then go to the little red bell, which is on the second on the left, and in my case I sign in, and this takes you back to the front page again. And now we start designing. So I'm going to do a dress, so I click on dresses, and I'm going to choose semi-fitted. And I want the length, I want a long length. For me, a T-length is a long length. And I want raglan armholes, raglan sleeves. So I choose raglan sleeves. And the neckline has that little opening in it. The original one I didn't do the slit opening, but I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to choose the one that has a slit in it. And I think it will likely be not that one, not that one, that one, the jewel neckline with narrow slit. I don't want any collar, so I click no collar. Then I want no front closure, so I'm going to pick the top left one there, no front closure. And that takes me to the sleeves. Now the sleeve I want is a one that doesn't go right up to the neckline, but it has, so that one goes right up to the neckline. I think it's probably going to be a semi-raglan. And then I want it to have a waistline, so I want that one, the dress with the raglan sleeves, and then I want the skirt to have the frill. So I'm going to scroll down and I want, now should I go for that one? It's two frills. No, I'm going to go for this one. So it's longer and then has a shorter frill at the bottom. Then I want to have the sleeve are going to be part of the side panel, so I'll go for this one. And we'll go for the top one there, princess seams, because it's going to go up and join the sleeve further up. And the same will apply to the back. So I want a princess seam at the back. And then we do it again. We want the princess seam at the back. And well, it's a bell sleeve. I didn't actually pick this one before, but this is, I'm going to go for the raglan 2-seam bell sleeve because the actual the bought one has a seam up the sleeve, and then it creates, and there we go. This is what it's going to look like. The one that I have doesn't have a zip in the back, so I'm not going to put a zip in the back. I'm going to have it so that it goes up, so I can put it over my head. And I've just shown you the two colours to let you see what it's like. And here's an example of what it would look like with the red floral type of pattern. So now I already have my measurements entered on this, so I would go to enter your measurements just to make sure that they're in. You notice that the price is $2.20, which is very reasonable. And when I go to my measurements, enter your measurements, they're there, so I don't need to worry. So the next bit I do is I click to buy. And there we go, click to buy and follow through with the purchase. So this is the pattern that I've done from the collar. And it's going to need some tweaking because the sleeves are more of a gathered sleeve at the bottom. I've just shown you the sleeves have got a gather, so I'm going to have to widen that out to make it a bit bigger. So the sleeves are going to have to be made a bit bigger, and also that side bodice is part of the sleeve. So as I showed you, the seam on the sleeve is actually down there as well, so there's a front and a back of the sleeve, so I'm going to do the same. So what I'm going to do is this is the front and that's the back. And so first of all I'm going to take this one, we'll put the back one to one side. I'm going to take the front one and I'm going to take the front side bodice, and there's the front side bodice there, and I'm going to join this to here. I'm going to join this to here and I'm going to make it into into one piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this sleeve going out like that, and then I'm going to extend this fabric here on both sides and taper it up to there. That's going to taper up to there, and then here I'm going to go out about an inch, 2.5 centimeters, about to there, and then I'm going to go around to the side so that I have this curve here. So I'm going to have to put some tracing paper down on the over the top of this, and I'm going to have to trace the two together and get that curve. So you can see there I've added a bit of length just on the top there, a little bit, and a bit more on the bottom there, coming round to the front panel. And I'm going to do the same with the back. Well, first of all, this is the one that was dyed, and this is the one that I made more or less the same kind of copy of. The neck is probably slightly lower on this red one. The sleeves on this one are quite baggy and wide with a gather on the sleeve there. The sleeve on this one is That's probably equally baggy actually when I think about it. It's not too bad. If I put them up together like that, there is a little bit more blue underneath, you can see. So it's a bit more baggy on the blue one. And the lengths are more or less the same. There's a frill on the bottom of this one in the same way as there's a frill on the bottom of this one. And remember this one where I wasn't very happy about the neckline? Well, I changed it round. I can't remember how I changed it round. Whatever I did, I dropped this neck at the front a bit more, and the back, which had, why is that moving? There. And the back had a V in it. I've kind of rounded that off. So that's the back and that's the front. And I also added a little belt to pull it in a bit, and that looks a lot better now that I've done that. I did a, what would you call it, a mashup. Let's call it a mashup. I'll show you my mashup. On Lacala, years ago, in Lacala, on the Lacala site, I did myself a sloper. And that was what I made, a sloper. And it was fitted to my measurements. So what I did was, I think I've done this before, I've made a skirt. In fact, I think this one that I'm wearing is exactly the same, because it's got the seam there. When I think about it, actually, I think I did the same pattern. I took the top half of this sloper up to about there. So that's the top half of this dress and the next dress and the dress after that, because I've been creating. This is an old one. And I took the bottom half of the cashmerette Turner dress, because it's quite nice flared. It's a nice flared skirt. Now it's very similar, the top was very similar to that one, but I just wanted to combine the two to see what it looked like. This one has probably got darts in it, whereas the one that the top that I have has actually got, you can see it's actually panelled. It's a panel that fits in. So I made a dress, and I liked it so much I made a second one. And here are the dresses that I made. So this was the first one that I made, and this was from some polyester that I had got, probably from Pound Fabrics or Pound a Meter or something. It's actually a very shiny jersey, and the thing about it's nice, but it's got a bit of a shine to it. I think it's what do you remember when we all went through that phase of buying scuba fabric? Well, I think this is the scuba without the thick bit to it, without the kind of spongy bit in the fabric. So I made this, and this has got the bust dart going down and then the cashmerette skirt, and it looks really nice. I put some pockets in as well. Very happy with that. All I did was I just turned the seams over there so that there's no facing. I just turned it over, because it's jersey you can do that. I overlocked the serged or overlocked the edge, and then turned it over, and did the same for the sleeves and the same for the hem. These sleeves I left quite wide to see what they looked like, and they turned out nice. So you'll see that in a minute on the screen. And then I made a second one. Now I made a second one last night. It takes me about a couple of hours to make these. What's nice about them, because it doesn't take long. But then I used some jersey, some lovely soft jersey from that I'll have to put the name up there. I can never remember. I think it's got a 1 in it somewhere. Bought this beautiful soft. It's a soft, very nice soft jersey, blue and purple and pink. Really soft, almost like a peach skin. Single jersey. And I thought I'd make the same dress. Well, single jersey is very thin, very light, but it's very heavy when you're making a big dress. And I found that the waist that was supposed to be slightly above waist level, because I like to have a fairly high waist, went right down to my hips because the weight of it was stretching the jersey. So I then had to take it up. I had to take it to pieces, take it up again. And I found that because of the weight, it was just dropping all over the place. Finally got it sorted by about 10 o'clock last night. And this was the result. And it's turned out lovely. As I say, it's a very soft fabric, and I've tried all these garments on to let you see, and I'll show them in a minute. So this one turned out nice, put pockets in, turned the hem up, and I'm really, really happy with it. We've been busy. That's why you haven't seen me. I should have put this bit at the beginning. We've been busy. We've had his mother's celebration of life. That was this weekend, last weekend. It's now Monday. And so everything's done there. Everybody went down very, very well. Everybody was absolutely amazed at how well it was, how lovely it was. His lordship must have done about 20. He insisted on going out and buying large photo frames that hold about 12 or 13 photographs, and he did them. He basically had them all lined up on these tables, starting from when she was younger right up to when just before she died, and showing with family and everything, and everybody thought it was lovely. And then I put together a little video about her, which was quite hilarious in the middle. Everybody loved that. It was his lordship. Every time I kept saying, "What do you think of this? Watch this, see what you think of that." He kept breaking down in tears because the music that I use is very emotional. It's kind of almost from the, you can imagine it's where love letters or something, some kind of emotional classical music that I had, and he absolutely loved it, and everybody else did. They all said, "Oh God, the music went great with the actual film." So that went down well, and we've just been busy babysitting every weekend, and every time I kept saying I must get a video put together, I haven't had a chance to. So I'm trying to catch up. I've got a few videos to do. I'm just busy putting one together today. It's Monday. I might get that out by tomorrow night, fingers crossed. And then I've got this one that I'm busy doing, and I've got a couple of others to show you. So got plenty. They're backing up, but I haven't had the time to list them. So another thing that I did make, but I think I'll leave that till next time because can't spoil you too much. Anyway, so I'm going to love you and leave you and catch you next time. Bye.